My name's Shawn. I'm here with my SOTC brothers and going to give my testimony. First, I'd like to just say thank God. Thank God that I'm here. I'm going to start back about my childhood, growing up. In the beginning, I had a pretty good childhood. Both parents. My grandparents. But I always had this part of me that kind of wondered why I didn't look like anybody else. My other cousins were all light complected, red hair, freckles, and skinny kids. And here I was, this stocky little brown kid that with blonde hair. And but I never let it get to me that much, just kind of wondered about it. And then as I got a little older, I realized my parents fought all the time. And then one day they're not even together anymore. My dad's living somewhere else, and we're living in the house. For me, my dad was my world. I got up early in the morning to see him off to work, and I was there to watch him come home from work. See how, see what we could do. Go outside, ride my mini bike or whatever. So with him not there, it kind of changed things. And I think right there was the start of my bitterness. And so going along, moving forward, my dad was an alcoholic, and but he was in recovery. So every once in a while, he'd call and tell me he was coming to pick me up for the weekend, and he wouldn't show up. Well, come to find out, he was coming to pick me up, and his truck happened to see a bar and pulled into the parking lot. So that kind of added to the feeling rejected, because I didn't understand, why would you rather go to the bar than come pick me up? I mean, I didn't understand all that. So that just kind of added to my bitterness. And then moving forward, I was upset one day because my dad wasn't coming to pick me up. And my mom blurts out, "I don't know what you're upset for. He's not even your real dad." Well, that was like a slap in the face right there. So I called my dad and I told her what he said, or told him what she said. And he came over and explained it to me. Yes, I was a year old when him and my mom met. And but I was his son. I was his son. It didn't matter what anybody said, not her, not anybody else. I was his son. And I think rather than dealing with that, I just pushed it down and became even more bitter. Because I just started, every day was a fight. And I don't mean just a fight within myself. I mean an actual literal fight. I fought every day. At school, I was always getting suspended. I was always getting sent to the principal's office. They were always calling home. I just fought. Somebody looked at me wrong, I fought. Somebody said something I didn't like, I fought. let's fast forward. As I got older, I got into a relationship with a woman, never married, had some kids. But while I was in there, in that relationship, I also had children outside of the relationship. So, but I didn't know how to be a father. I was really never there for any of them. Uh, I was too busy partying and doing what I wanted to do, being selfish, thinking of myself, living my life, and had no interest in being a father. Um, then I started going to prison. I got in trouble, made a bad decision, made a bad choice, and went to prison. And I would get out and I would do good. I'd get a job, I'd work, I'd get off parole. And then either one puff on the meth pipe or one alcoholic beverage, and here I am back to making bad decisions again and choosing to go the wrong way. I don't want to get too much into the prison part because it's not something that I glorify or even like for people to think is cool, but it is something that brought me to God. So I do like to mention it. So 3 more times I go to prison. Then I find a woman that is great. She's not in that kind of lifestyle. She has nothing to do with that kind of lifestyle. Beautiful woman. We were in our late 30s, both of us. And we got married, had a son. And I'm going to be there for this one. I'm going to be there. I'm going to do right. Work. And do what I'm supposed to do. And I had my life all pictured out. Met my biological father. And started being a part of his life. He started being a part of mine. But still having problems with anger. Always angry. Always upset. Always mad. I was mad at the world all the time. My wife used to tell me, you need to have a little compassion for people. And I'd say, well, why? I don't say anything that's not true. She says, yeah, but sometimes, depending on the truth that you're speaking, you're hurting people, you're breaking them down, and you're not even giving any thought to it. She says, you should really try to have a little empathy. And I was like, empathy? What is empathy? And she told me it's caring about what other people, caring what happens to other people. She says, and you don't have any. And I was like, I don't need empathy. If they can't handle the truth, then that's on them, not me. I'm going to speak the truth. So I kept going along just the way I was. I mean, I am who I am. And if you don't like me, you don't have to like me. That's fine. Then my 18-year-old son, who was born with a heart condition, he came to me. Well, he didn't come to me. He came to my wife, who's his stepmother. But he came to her because he didn't want to come to me. He didn't feel safe enough coming to me. So he went to her to tell us that he was gay. Well, that just, I didn't want him drinking out of the coffee cups. I was just mean. I was mean. And he passed away. He had a heart condition and he passed away. So I was dealing with that because I don't think I ever expressed to him that even though I didn't agree with his lifestyle, and even though I didn't agree with what he was doing and chose to do, that he was still my son and I still loved him. So I never got to tell him I love him, or I never took the time to tell him I love him. And he died. Well, then a couple months later, a good friend of mine that was young, had his whole life ahead of him, he died also right in front of his children, electrocuted out washing the filter on their pool pump. And people would tell me, oh, God needed an angel. And I was just like, I wasn't accepting that. I was like, well, I can think of 20 people, myself included, that God could have took to wipe off this earth rather than, one of them. And I couldn't figure out why God took good people and left all these people that do bad and do harm in the world. I mean, leave the good people that make the world better. So I fought with that. Now, my biological father, he's a pastor. And as much as I tried to get to know him, I also tried to hold a distance with him at the same time because I wasn't trying to hear about God. I didn't want nothing to do with that. That's for somebody else. That's not for me. I live my life the way I want to live it, not the way somebody else wants me to live it. And if they didn't like it, then that's on them. Well, then just all of a sudden, after COVID, or during COVID, my dad starts getting sick with everything. I mean, he must have had COVID. The hospital must have called me 6 or 7 times to tell me that they were keeping him in the hospital because he had COVID. This man had bad kidneys, liver. I mean, he had everything wrong with him. And he'd get COVID and be out of the hospital in 2 weeks. And he would always tell me, that it's not my time to go yet. God's got a plan for me. And I tell him, okay, Dad, whatever. I tell him, you're just too ornery. Tell him, no. You just keep thinking that. God's got a plan for everybody. Well, finally, my dad died. And we had the funeral. A few people got up and spoke. A couple of them were friends of mine that admired my dad for the way he talked and what he talked about. Well, one of those guys, after the funeral, we're all at the little at the reception. He comes up to me and tells me, hey, sorry about your dad and this and that. And he starts talking about my dad, about he was a good man and God needed him and this and that. And, I flew off the handle and told him, hey, you know what? F you, F God. Bring God down here right now, and me and him will handle what we need to handle. And I basically called God out. Well, I know today that that was the beginning of me coming to Christ. Because from that day forward, it was like I was on a rocket with my arms and legs wrapped around it, headed straight down. I took everything that God had blessed me with, even though I never went to church and would always shrug it off and everything. God did bless me. I had a home, I had a family, my wife, my son, a job. I had all that. And my sobriety, I had gotten out of prison and met my wife, got married. No more drugs, no more prison, no more any of it. And but I was just on a downhill spiral, just wrecking everything I had. About a year, almost a year later, from the funeral of my dad, I wake up about 4 o'clock in the morning to get ready for work. And I guess I had wrecked everything so bad that I figured I needed to just completely let go of it and just let it all go. I woke up, told my wife I wanted a divorce, called my job, told them I quit, and basically just told myself that I quit. After over 25 years of sobriety, I started using meth again. And my life was just, I didn't want nothing to do with my wife, nothing to do with my son. It was just like a big pity party. And I dang sure wasn't getting anywhere fast, except to the bottom of the pile. And I became homeless. I had ran out of money, nothing left saved up. Was unable to find a job. I had nothing. I lost everything, or I wrecked everything. I can't say I lost it because I didn't lose it. I threw it away. I took it, balled it up in a big old wad, and just threw it in the trash. Everything good in my life, I wrecked. And I hit rock bottom, and almost a year to the day, maybe a month shy of me telling that friend of mine that F him and F God, I showed up on his doorstep crying and begging for him to help me find God and fix my life. And he started laughing at me. which I thought was, at the time, I was a little upset about that. But he told me, he says, I've been waiting for you. I've been waiting for you. And found and accepted Christ into my life that day, that morning, right there on his front doorstep, and gave my life to God. And I'm not going to say that it's been an easy road coming back, but I will say that I'm coming back. Things are coming. God's giving things back to me. He has given me peace. I have peace now. I've learned how to not be angry all the time. Amaro, the friend of mine that helped lead me to Christ, he actually brought me to a Bible study in a motorcycle ministry, Soldiers of the Cross. And I was in there the first time, and I knew right then, right away, that was where I needed to be. Everybody that came up to me wanted to talk about God, wanted to talk about me, what they could pray for me for, what we could pray for together. And I felt the presence of God when I was around those guys. So I started going, and as you see, I'm now a member. And now my biggest goal is just serving Christ. I want to give back to others what Christ showed me and gave me. I want people to know that God's grace is just awesome. It's the most awesome feeling you can ever have. I know that for me, without God in my life, that it's a wreck waiting to happen. I pray every day for God to help me because I sin every day. I'm a Christian and I follow God, but I'm also human and I make bad choices. I sin, but I see them now, and I feel bad about them. I actually recognize them on my own. I don't have to wait for somebody else to tell me. Usually, as soon as I do it, I feel it because I don't want to let God down. I enjoy now. I enjoy going and talking to people, praying for people, doing what I can to help people. And though I may speak the truth still, I'm still a person that likes to speak the truth. If the truth is going to hurt your feelings or it's going to set you back, I'm just not going to speak it in a way that's going to hurt you or make a road bump for you. I want to be kind. I want to have feelings for people. I want to feel for people. I want to be genuine. And I want to genuinely care. And I want for people to see what God has done for me through me. Not from me, not because I'm sitting here talking and saying that, oh, I'm doing this or I'm doing that. I want people to be able to look at me and see through me the work that God put into building me and making me who I am today. And I just thank God every day that He chose me. And He chose me to be a part of this ministry right here. Soldiers of the Cross. I've been able to open up. I've been to some events that we go to that where we're ministering the gospel, um, just praying for people, showing love, loving people. God is love. And when you can show that and not be embarrassed about it, and be proud to be able to express that, that's like freedom. It's like I don't fear anything. I don't hate anything. I don't hate anybody. Um, I've gone through some work. I've had to work on myself. I've had gophers. There was gophers down deep that I had to dig up, and I've dug them, and I'm still digging them. There's still some that need to be caught, and I find them daily, and I fight them daily. But it's a good fight. I use God to fight now. Uh, I get up in the morning, and when I pray that God gives me wisdom and health and keeps my family safe and all my brothers safe. And my main prayer to God, though, every morning is for God to harness my tongue and only let me speak what glorifies Him. And to get in my head before I do. Because if I'm in control, then I'm not letting God take control. And I'm just gonna wreck my life again. And I don't want to do that. I just like I said, I just thank God that He chose me, and I'm glad I'm here. And I hope this touches at least one person. I hope this helps somebody, because that's what it's all about. If my message, my testimony can help one person, then I'm happy. And that glorifies God right there, because then their testimony is going to help somebody else. Thank you.